Oh, they could easily clarify this. They can easily come out and just tell you what the proper date was. They're a public agency, aren't they? SEC, they work for the government. The government's supposed to serve the people. Serve the people. They should be able to come out and just tell you. But this tells you how much, anger they have towards the people, that they hold these grudges, and these entities that used to serve the people, that were supposed to serve the people, that they've grown out of control. And they like to antagonize the people now. They claim to protect the people, but they really don't. Don't let that upset you. Don't let it upset you. Don't let it make your mind race. Just be calm, be patient, wait. We're going to find out. Trust me. We're going to defeat them calmly. We're not going to let them anger us and all that type of thing. No. So whether it's the 16th or the 18th, what difference does it make? We wait a couple of days, we find out. And then we defeat them once and for all. Isn't that what we're here for? We have to defeat them so we can get to where we need to be. With XRP being unleashed fully, and probably all the utility coins across the board being unleashed fully. That's where we're trying to get. Everything else is pointless. It's inconsequential. We need a victory. So only the steps that lead towards the victory are important. So that's how I look at this. But let's get a little bit of clarity on this. This article is titled, and then we're going to get to the second chapter. We're going to get to the second chapter where someone's saying something major that people really should be looking at closely, because it indicates a huge change that is coming, and it could possibly be being done on purpose. Now, this article is titled SEC Faces Ripple Appeal Deadline Uncertainty, XRP Community Speculates. And of course, everybody's going over these dates, of course. But here it said we get some word from a lawyer or two. It says the SEC had initially filed its notice of appeal on October the 2nd, 2024, but the case wasn't officially entered into the system until October the 4th. Pro-crypto lawyer Jeremy Hogan pointed out that these different dates left room for doubt about whether the SEC ought to submit its Form C on October 16th, or if the agency could extend it to October 18th. Meanwhile, Ripple CTO David Schwartz is as confused as everyone else. He notes that it's not impossible that the SEC intentionally missed the deadline to end its appeal, although he finds it an unusual tactic. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. No need for my mind to be racing, or yours, or to stress over it. We shall see soon enough. Everything in its own time. He said, quote, "It's not impossible that they deliberately blew a filing deadline to end their appeal, but that does seem like a really bizarre move," unquote. The only way I see that happening is if someone far above them with deep, deep pockets stood up and said, "Hey, listen, you're wrong. We told you to back down. Put a leash on this dog." I could see that happening, sure, but I don't know what's going on right now. I would rather just wait, and we shall see. Right? Of course, if it does, we will see. According to court filings, the SEC has 14 days after October the 4th court notice to complete and submit the form. Fox Business journalist Eleanor Tourette, citing the document filed in the Second Circuit, stated, quote, "The real deadline is actually Friday, October the 18th at 11:59 p.m., unquote. So we will see, but let's move on to something more important, in my humble opinion. Because you tell me, and don't get me wrong, I consider that there are many, many incompetent individuals, and many individuals put in position because of things like friendship and nepotism and brown nosing, if you will, things like that. And they should not be in these particular positions. And so that the monetary policy and policies and things that are done that could affect the economy and affect the financial status of these world powers. Of course, those decisions are not going to be the best. Those people are not going to be the best. Sure. So I consider that possibility. But let's say that there are competent people, but they're not being allowed to make the proper decisions, right? Because they want the systems to be overloaded. They want the systems to collapse so that they can build something else. I also consider that many people in the members only section for years have told me things like that. And it seems that more and more signs have been coming about that they may be correct. And I'm going to tell you right now, like I said, there's many brilliant people in the members only section. And so they've been correct about many things. But I'll tell you this. Listen to this article here. This is from Kristalina Georgieva. This is from Financial Times. IMF chief warns of unforgiving debt backdrop and low growth. We just heard something from Bank of America. We heard something before that from another large entity, back to back to back. Why? What are they trying to tell the people? They don't all come out at the same time by accident. They don't. They don't. And a lot of these individuals, I'm telling you right now, I've been around for a long time. I've studied many different things. I'll just say that. And I know some people believe in this whole karma thing where if you tell people what's going to happen before it happens, they feel like that's on you if you let it happen to you. For example, some people feel that, or they have this belief that if they tell you they're going to slap you and then you don't defend yourself and then you allow yourself to be slapped, that's on you. That energy is not on them. That's just their belief system. I don't put it past these individuals to have that same way of thinking. I don't. And I believe that it's possible that they tell you what's about to happen. And if you don't prepare yourself, it's on you. I think that's how they look at it. That's why I'm saying that. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong, folks. Completely wrong. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm not a neophyte. I'm not a neophyte in anything on any level. So I'm telling you that it could be this. But let's read this. Kristalina Georgieva says government's reluctance to rein in spending heightens public finances challenge. Listen, they can't solve this problem. They're not going to. You cannot remove debt limits, right? To where now everything is so high. You only have enough to pay the interest on it. The interest is astronomical. The head of the IMF has warned in a quote, unforgiving, quote unquote, economic backdrop for government finances around the world, as she highlighted a widespread, that's not by mistake, a widespread reluctance among politicians to rein in spending and raise taxes. First of all, they should rein in the spending. They should be much more responsible. That's if this is not intentional, right? But raise taxes, how much more? The people are already suffering. How much more are you going to take from the people? We've been long past a Robin Hood, the Sheriff of Nottingham situation. I think that's what the sheriff was called, right? Sheriff of Nottingham situation. We're way past that by now. You can't, how much more can you tax the people? How much more can the people work? How much more can they sacrifice? That's not going to happen. It should not happen. As a matter of fact, you should lower the taxes on the people and be more responsible with your spending. There's a lot of spending going to boom, 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 when you can make peace. Peace could be made in the world. It won't be complete. There won't be complete. There's a balance to everything. But I mean, just funding could be redirected from certain things and into other things. You get what I'm saying? I mean, we could all come together and make these decisions. We don't need politicians to do this for us. We don't need governments to do it for us. But I know that's not going to happen. But we as a people could come together and say, hey, this is where we need to improve. This is what we want to do. Right. Hard to do that. Hard to put that together. I'm going to tell you right now, I've tried many times in my life. I've done many things in my life, and it's difficult to bring people together to change just even a local environment. I've had difficulties. Just my experience, folks. That's just my personal experience. So now, they love the words of the politicians. The politicians are very, very, how do you say it? It's like they weave magic with their words or something. They promise the people things they're not going to do, and the people go for it. And that is difficult. That is difficult to compete with, right? If you're just telling people the raw truth versus somebody who's going to tell them whatever they want to hear. Unfortunately, that's very difficult to compete with. I'm telling you. But I hope there's people that still fight into the future. But anyway, the fight for the people into the future, right? Just my humble opinion. You could disagree with all that. So now, reluctance among politicians to rein in spending. Oh, yeah. OK. Kristalina Georgieva, the fund's managing director, said rising levels of borrowing meant a growing share of government revenues was being used to cover interest payments. That's what I was just talking about. And listen, when she says this, I know she's looking at you, United States, for sure. The spending is insane. They're not putting this on the mainstream news. This needs to be shared to everybody. Why do I say that? And listen, folks, not financial advice at all. And this is not meant to. I don't believe in fear. I believe in being prepared for things. And I like to see what's coming. I don't like to turn my back on things. I like to see what's coming. So I just want to preemptively say those things. But Everyone should know this so they could protect themselves, in my humble opinion. You know, maybe someone may want to have some cash on the side, or maybe they want to have some gold, or maybe they want to have a mutual fund or something. I don't know, something where their value is protected, you know, silver. A lot of people like silver, things like that. But I mean, people should know that this is a time period to protect yourself. Why do I say that also? What do I back that up with? When you look at what's going on with the central bank, even the central banks are shaking in their boots, because although they're a part of that system that is creating an environment where there could be a massive collapse across the globe, really, all of these financial systems are under tremendous stress, is what I mean. Tremendous stress from top to bottom. OK, and they don't really see, they've never done this before, even though they're a part of that system. So they're protecting themselves just in case whatever may come. If it's really bad, they want to protect themselves. So what have they been doing? They've been buying massive amounts of gold, folks, but only little channels like myself covering it. The mainstream is not covering. They don't want the people to know, but they should be. If the mainstream really cared about their people and really earned all that viewership that they were getting, they would come out and tell the people, hey, listen, guys, central banks are buying up a bunch of gold. And that definitely means there's something possible that could be negative that they're protecting their value from. And, you know, and so people have an opportunity to decide for themselves. They can either protect their value or not. It's up to them. But at least they get a choice. You get what I'm saying? I think everybody deserves a choice. But we're seeing it here. It says here, let's continue. She said rising levels of borrowing. OK, quote, our forecasts point to an unforgiving combination of low growth and high debt. What do you call that? Low growth, high debt. What do you call that time period? Come on now. But see, here's the wild part. Their own people have been saying the opposite. They're telling people everything's okay. Everything's fine. But you have but amongst the people, see, most people are not going to read Financial Times, FT.com. They're not going to read this IMF statement. They see the IMF, they yawn, it's boring. They don't want to hear it. Right? So they know. So she's speaking to her own people. Right? So now let's continue on here. Where did we leave off, folks? My mind I have so many thoughts right now. Kristalina Georgieva, the fund's managing director, said rising levels of debt. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Quote, our forecasts point to an unforgiving combination of low growth and high debt. Here, listen how she ends this. A difficult future, unquote. She leaves it obtuse, ambiguous. It's wide open, ambiguous, amorphous. A difficult future. I mean, and I know, I understand why she's doing that. Because it will be hard to encompass everything all the difficulties that will branch out from this. It's difficult to condense all of that into any type of quick verbiage. Said Georgieva. Listen, let's take into account all of the different things we're witnessing right now. Job markets are terrible across the globe. Definitely in the United States. It's not what the numbers are saying. Listen to the people on the ground, number one. Number two, you have banks. We've confirmed it in China. We've seen their documentation. Lots of their banks are on the verge of collapse. A lot of banks in the United States on the verge of collapse. We looked at professional companies. Those documents are still in those members only videos. People downloaded them, screenshot them. All right. So we have the United States, China having problems. We know India has problems, although they're trying to, what India is doing right now, from what I've seen, it's like they're trying to force a square into like a triangle, but they're banging that square in, so that's their method. I don't think that's going to work. You see, Japan has its problems. Was it the UK also that had the liquidity infusions of about a year or two ago? Japan did similar a few times over the last few years. But listen, there's only so much. It's only so much you can pump into your economy. There's only so big the bubble can get before it bursts, for lack of a better word. We shall see, folks. I'm telling you right now, and this is one of the reasons why it's so important, in my humble opinion, to make the proper decisions, not only with what you invest in, research, and trust yourself above anyone else. Trust yourself. That's number one. And number two, preserving value. Right? I know some people like to spend. It makes them feel good to get that temporary joy. I'm spending this money. I'm spending. I'm having a good time partying. I'm buying stuff. But sometimes you have to save. Sometimes you got to tighten up that belt and say, hey, listen, the future, I want to have something for the future. Rainy day comes. I hate to use that verbiage as well, because I like rainy days, actually, but I get what it means to other people. But a rainy day comes. I have something for a rainy day. Sometimes you have to preserve some of your value. Not all of it. You still want to enjoy your life. Sure. It says, quote, let's see here. She added, even after a fall in debt to GDP levels as inflation lifted nominal growth. All right, listen, we're going to leave off there. I don't want to take up too much of the video. That's a very good article if you want to read it. All right, very, very interesting and eye-opening. I'll tell you that much right now. So now, if we get our hands on that audio, we will analyze the audio. All right. So now, this article here, I think this is much more of a fun article here. This article is titled XRP Price Prediction. Bitwise submits $320 million insured XRP ETF application. All right, let's find out. This is some positive news. Let's find out what's going on. Bitwise has filed an updated S1/A registration statement with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission for its proposed XRP traded fund. It says Bitwise has filed an updated, and they say the same thing again here. Why? This step is a major advancement in Bitwise's attempt to provide a regulated investment vehicle centered around XRP, a leading cryptocurrency. If approved, the ETF would allow investors to access XRP through stock exchanges, improving both the accessibility and liquidity of the asset. The filing outlines the core structure of the ETF, including the formation of a trust and the mechanisms for creating and redeeming shares. Additionally, Bitwise highlights its emphasis on security, including the use of cold storage for the majority of assets. Only a small portion will be stored in hot wallets for daily operations. Coinbase Global, the appointed custodian, maintains a $320 million insurance policy to cover risk such as theft and cyber attacks. However, Bitwise acknowledges that this coverage might be insufficient in severe cases. So we'll see what happens with this. Cold storage and custody measures enhance security. Security is a top priority for Bitwise's XRP ETF. Most assets will be held in cold storage. What kind of? I want to know the particulars of that cold storage. Is it air gapped? And which type of air gapped is it? I'd like to know that. Which is considered the safest method for protecting cryptocurrency from hacks. A small portion of XRP will remain in hot wallets to meet operational needs, minimizing exposure to potential threats. Bitwise's filing also emphasizes that trust assets will be kept separate from the custodian's other holdings, ensuring the safety of XRP's private keys. That's good. I like that. The ETF will rely on a chief executive agent to conduct XRP transactions across multiple platforms, including Bitstamp, Kraken, Coinbase, and LMAX. This strategy aims to increase trading efficiency and minimize delays. All right, so listen, we've heard a lot about XRP ETFs over the last few weeks. We'll see what happens. Just one more positive thing for XRP, if it doesn't indeed happen. I'm not mad if it's Solana. Whether it's XRP or Solana, I don't care. I win if either one has an ETF, and the ETF actually has a positive impact on the price. All right, so but XRP is looking good, as far as that energy right now. So now let's move here. Let's see what else. We have two more articles. See what time it is. We have another XRP article. There's a lot of XRP news today. My word. So now, and I had to actually chop a few articles out. I'll post those for the members. Okay. I think those are pretty good articles, and I like to give the members only section the best of the best. All right. So now this article is titled "Charts Show XRP Could," not a guarantee, but could spike 10x to 500x during alt season when Bitcoin dominance drops. My apologies. It wasn't an ad. I don't know what that was that popped up. It asks you questions or something, of what you want the website to do. I just want to view it. Can we not have a pop-up come block the entire article title? That would be nice. Anyway, this is what it says. Market data suggests XRP could see a massive price surge. The data stems from two charts shared by Kevin Cage, a notable market analyst and advisor to Iron Key Capital. These observations come from historical patterns that relate to Bitcoin's dominance in the market. XRP alignment with Bitcoin dominance. Notably, XRP has consistently shown strong gains during altcoin seasons, which occur when Bitcoin's dominance declines, allowing altcoins to surge. Two of the most prominent instances occurred during the bull runs in 2017 and 2021. My memory is different. I don't know about 2017 because I wasn't into crypto at that time. But in 2021, I'll say this. In 2021, what I remember is Bitcoin going absolutely nuts, insane, going off, going up, and everything else going up with it. That's what I remember. And then when Bitcoin came down, everything else eventually came down as well. That's what I remember. I could be wrong, though. Maybe my memory is fogged up or something, but that's what I remember. And everything was going off at that time. That's what I want to experience again. It'll be a beautiful time, but everything was going off all at the same time. But let's go here. Bitcoin's dominance in the cryptocurrency market can be important in determining the performance of altcoins like XRP when Bitcoin's share of the market shrinks. Well, we know that. You're preaching to the choir now. Now, wait a minute. Says here, wait. I want to get to the prices. Cage's chart confirms. Oh, that's actually a cool way to say that. Cage's chart. Cage always been a cool name. It's like when I think, who do you think when you hear Cage? I think of two people, right? I think of three people. I think of Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat. That's always, and so Johnny Cage really set the name. Now this sounds wild, right? But this is how I think. But Johnny Cage set the standard for cages. You had to be cool. You had to have some sunglasses. You had to know martial arts. That's one. Then you got Luke Cage. He's a superhero. Do I need to talk about Luke Cage? Bulletproof, all types of stuff, man. Luke has super strength. Luke Cage, and then of course, hey, and don't laugh. Of course, the incomparable, unparalleled Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I said it. That's right. Yeah, I said it. And I liked I can't say all. He has so many movies, but I'll say I liked most of his movies during the 90s, from the 90s to the 2000s. Face Off was a classic. And Travolta was on fire back then as well. Travolta and Nick Cage. That if you haven't watched Face Off, well, first of all, that movie is not for the youth. Let me just say that. If you have children, don't watch Face Off with children, okay? But that was a good action movie. Face Off was good. And then as far as Travolta, there was a movie called Remember that movie called Broken Arrow with Travolta? They were like in the military and then they were trying to what was it? They had something. It was like a weapon, right? And then the other guy was trying to get the weapon back from him. Travolta played a bad guy. Too good. So anyway, Nick Cage is the other Cage. But yeah, so those are good movies. Broken Arrow. There's some movie recommendations for you. Broken Arrow, great movie. Face Off and Con Air. Oh, I can't believe I remembered that. Well, hold on. Wait, what? I heard one of you out there. One of you just you just scoffed when I said Con Air. Don't do that now. Don't do that. Did you see Con Air? If you didn't see Con Air, that was a good movie. It was just entertainment. It was pure entertainment. It wasn't meant to be Gladiator or what's another great movie? Raging Bull level acting. No, it was just pure entertainment, but fun movie, Con Air. So if you want movies, check those out. Not advice. I'm just saying. All right. So anyway, prices. Back to Cage's charts. So it says here, this spike coincided. They're talking about the old spikes that it went, XRP went from 0.006 cents to a peak of $3.50. And now I'm trying to find, they drag this, right? They really want you. I'm assuming that the longer you stay on these web pages, the more money they make or something like that. Cause they really drag this out. This XRP still managed to increase 10x, climbing from 18 cents to 196. Yes, but tell me what the new one is going to be. My apologies, folks. I'm not editing any of this out because this is exactly how I feel. This is my real reaction. XRP follows If XRP follows this 2017 pattern of 500x increase, its price could skyrocket from its current level of around 55 cents to as high as $275. Alternatively, if XRP repeats its more modest 2021 performance of a 10x increase, its price would still reach around $5.47. All right now. All right. And I had a little bit of Bitcoin. Can we squeeze in a little bit of Bitcoin? 25 minutes in. Let's end off with this little weed. It's a little bit of Bitcoin news. All right. All right. I probably did too much XRP news today. I have to be a little bit more balanced. Gold arrives on digital gold as Bitcoin gets tokenized version of the metal. Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, is often referred to as, quote, digital gold, unquote. But now it is possible to mint and trade physical gold on the Bitcoin blockchain via the Ordinals protocol, essentially encoding ownership of the yellow metal into an NFT. Now, hold on a second. Let's see if there's any more here. Bitcoin is often, okay, they repeat that. They really repeat that again. Swarm Markets, a real-world assets platform licensed by German regulator BaFin, is offering investment in gold bars on the Bitcoin network in partnership with Ordinals Bot. Gold will become the first RWA available on Trio, a marketplace developed by Ordinals Bot, which is set to launch by the end of the year. So that's really good news for both Bitcoin. I can't really say it's good news for gold because I think gold is strong on its own without anything else, literally. But this is good news overall. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.